Oh my goodness, y'all. We have a very distinguished guest on the show today, don't we, Mr. Matt?
Indeed, we do.
I would say that he even gets right to the point about things.
That
Yeah.
would be, yeah, that'd be very accurate. He was very hard to get a hold of because honestly, I don't even think he owns a phone.
I don't even know if he has a
Um,
full set of fingers, if he just has the two. But
well,
Handel, how are you? That's good,
okay,
man. I mean, have you been busy this week, Handel?
yeah. Us
Yeah.
too. Yeah, we've been busy as well. It's been quite a week.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot of things in a house to tap on. But what would you say your most frustrating thing to tap is? Like what do you not want to tap if you couldn't tap anything? I
It,
I I
you know,
agree.
I don't know, man. I'm starting to think this was a bad idea. I don't know. Handle, you're great and all, but I'm starting to maybe think that we made the wrong decision here.
But he should stick around, right? Stick
Well, yeah,
around.
stick around, but maybe we bring Randall in.
Maybe we bring Inspector Randall on. Yeah, that'd be good, man. Inspector Randall, welcome
Are
to
you
the ride
there?
along, dude. How you
No
been?
offense, Handle. No offense.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean
hey
we
There he
love
guys.
is.
Randall.
Hey,
There he
how's it
is,
going?
dude. Randall, not
What are y'all doing
only
here?
we're
Oh
just
no,
we're
we
just hanging
certainly weren't
around.
having a conversation with Handle. I can tell you that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy.
I mean, it's been a freaking long day, I think, for all of us. And then, to end it talking to the hand, I feel like is kind of kind of we get that emotion now and then as inspectors, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
dude, how did you come up with that first of all?
So saw a random video on TikTok. Some dude using it for Grand Theft Auto, and as soon as I saw it, it was one video. I'm like, I need to use that for home inspections. And I immediately searched it, found it on Amazon, and I couldn't wait for it to show up. I had a feeling it was going to work. It did.
yeah.
Um,
Holy
and yeah,
Christ, dude.
yeah. So I'm like, I think this is going to be fun, for sure to do, which doing social media, I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to get burnt out on some things. So I was excited to try this one. It worked out great.
Oh, it
But
blew up.
I'm probably going to stop doing it, yeah, here pretty quickly, just for what it's
Oh,
worth. I may do it a little bit here and there, but I think it's ran its course.
Handle, cover your ears. Well, I don't know, man. I think uh I mean for me, of course my it's not supposed to do that thing. It's funny because I try to not make that my only thing, like I do it once a week. And it's funny because I'll put out a video. Sometimes people are like, but you didn't say it. And I'm like, hey, you come back on Thursday. Stop that. Like I only do that on Thursday because I don't want that to be the only thing I have. It's really meant to be comedic. I am showing problems usually. They're usually pretty obvious problems. And I think that's what makes that whole thing and the deadpan thing work. But I mean, like, I don't want to do that all the time. I didn't want that to be my only thing. So maybe handle just, pops up every now and again or something.
Yeah, and that's my plan. Um, it's weird. I feel like I've created this weird monster, and you're
You have.
probably experiencing this with your, like what you said with your catchphrase. But when I post a handle video, the OGs get mad because they like my old content. Like, oh, we like it when you explain things. And then if I do that, all the new pointer fans get mad. I didn't do a pointer one. So I try to make both happy. But the biggest reason I'm kind of over it currently is just the volume of inspectors who have also started doing it. I feel like
Right.
my feed
it's
is
so
just
imitated now. Yeah.
saturated with the pointer finger. And I'm like, kind
I
of
I get
over it.
totally get
annoyed
that.
because Matt and I were talking about this before. I get annoyed because it's like you have to understand how a good bit works. And I don't want to disparage anybody from attempting something, and imitation's always the greatest form of flattery. But
Sure.
at the same time, like your bit works because you point at things that we obviously know are incorrect or damaged or broken. But you get some guys on here, bless them, they're just tapping on things. I have no idea what in the bleep they're talking about. Like I cannot
Yeah.
distinguish anything because you're shot too wide. Or it's too minuscule of a thing. Like if it's just an average TikTok viewer, like they ain't gonna know. You
Yeah.
know, it's that it's the wrong insulation on the wire. No,
Well,
but
And
and
I've
I
anyway.
was
shot.
go ahead. Go ahead, Randall.
I was just gonna say I've shot plenty of stuff on site, and then when I'm editing, I'll leave it out because I'm like, people probably won't know what that is, so
Yeah.
scratch it.
Yeah. I have that issue when I'm putting things together too sometimes. But I was talking to Brad a little bit earlier because we were kind of talking about the show and everything. And I was referencing that I was actually inspired by somebody else that wasn't an inspector or anything with my it's not supposed to do that stuff. Kind of rolled off the tongue one day, and then I it didn't really do much. And then a few years later, my following was a little bit bigger, and I put it out there, and it started to work really good. And I thought, hey, and I was inspired by this guy. His name's Pat McNamara. He's a real like American dude, and like a real. He's always working out and working in his garden and like you know doing all kinds of American stuff. And anyway, I was inspired by him and to do a numbered series like weekly. And so I started doing that. And then a year or so in, like somebody started to imitate it, right? But they weren't like giving credit or anything. They just like took it and they did a numbered series and everything. And I was like, well, that's not cool. And so I asked them about it, and they were like, "Oh no, sorry, I was just I thought it was cool, so I was doing it too, but no big deal." And then they gave me credit and whatever, it's fine. I don't mind when people do it. I love it when they do it, but this guy was like straight ripping it off. And so anyway, I reached out to that guy that was my inspiration, and I said, "Hey, what happens whenever people got to do this to you? Like, well, what happens?" And his explanation to me was, "It's lived with me." But it was like he said, it's all in your delivery. Like, no one's going to deliver it like you do, so it doesn't really matter if they do it. They're not going to do it the same way, first of all. And then he goes, and then I, of course, got a registered trademark on mine. So, and I did that too eventually, but I don't know if you can register a hand. But I think it
Yeah.
is very true that I don't think that there's anyone out there that's doing it like you. I know that that's simple to say because it's just a hand pointing at stuff, but I will say that yours is different than anyone else I see working that hand.
Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate it. I mean, I like doing it. It is nice to just not talk, not have to worry about what you say and the way you say it. I mean, you just tap. So it is rather lazy at times, um, but I don't know. It
I
is
don't
fun
look
to
at it that
do.
way. There's so much attitude in that tap.
Oh, I
Uh,
know, man. Yeah, there's a comedic element to it
There
where it's
really
like
is.
a silent film, but it's yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah.
But
It's really a
honestly,
genius
before
thing.
we get into what I really want to talk to you about, which I mean, we could talk about the social media thing. And it's not that your experience with social media is better or worse, different or any way than other TikTok inspector influencers that we've had on here, but I really want to get into the crazy growth that your business has experienced just since you started, man. It's such a cool story. But before we get into that, we do have to do our drink of the day, brought to you by Inspection Fuel. Matt, why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's September. I keep forgetting the dates. I'm going to be there, but it is in September and it is in New Orleans. What are the dates, Brad?
8th through the 10th. Yeah,
8th through the 10th. Okay.
that's it,
All right.
man.
That's
Yep,
it. The 8th. One of these days I'll get that down. But
that's
yes,
it.
we're going to be doing a live podcast from there.
It's gonna
And
be
so that's
cool.
going to be a whole lot of fun. And I am looking forward to it. So, yeah, the drink of the day sponsored by Inspection Fuel, correct? What
It
are you
is
drinking?
indeed. I am sipping on something that, first of all, let me pause right there. I gotta check the oven. I think did it stop? Oh, it'll rest. It'll cool off. It's just
There's
an air
no way
fryer.
we're going to cut that out. Like, that's totally getting left in there, by
We're
the way.
leaving. We're leaving dinner getting
He
done
drops
in
the
there
drink
on
of
the
the
drink.
day to go check on the oven. Time out.
Dude, I got it. It's a big old pork tenderloin, man. I got to eat that. But
Brad, what are
anyway,
you
okay.
drinking on?
All right. I am sipping on something actually that you gave me, Matt, which I'm pretty excited about trying here. This is the Cooper Family Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and you picked this up for me
I did.
before we filmed in Austin this past weekend. And dude, what a freaking fun time we had, man.
Had a great time. Yeah. We got matching hats to prove it, right?
We do, yeah. We look, guys. You got to pay attention to the show here because we got an amazing episode coming out with Matt Reisinger of The Build Show. Huge YouTube following, awesome podcast. And we get to film at his property that is in development and almost finished. It was incredible. But, we sipped on a little bit of liquid courage as we were filming there too. So,
Every now and again, we kind of had to. It was hot. What can I say? But so okay, well, you're drinking the Cooper's family. That's great. Did you
Yeah,
just straight up?
little old fashioned out of it, but
Oh, okay.
dude, it's balanced, man. It's good stuff. How about
That's
you?
good
What you
stuff.
got?
I'm doing an old fashioned as well, just with wild turkey. But
Salute,
cheers
sir.
to
Yeah.
the old fashioned.
And Randall, what's Handle drinking? Does he have a handle
He
up?
doesn't drink. No, he's a stick hand.
He's a teetotaler.
Uh,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Randall's drinking a big cup of water. So,
Mm,
Good
hydrating.
stuff,
I
man.
like it.
yep.
Stay thirsty, my friends. Good stuff. Well, yeah. So Randall, you were telling me when we got on air here just before, just about the crazy growth that you've had with your business. I guess the course that you've taken, it mirrors some other inspectors and a similar experience to what I had, where you kind of did the big company and then you went out solo on your own. But tell the viewers kind of the backstory behind some of the crazy growth that you've had this year, man, because I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So I actually started my own company first, and I had a part-time job at the same time, and I didn't like it. I didn't like having my own company. I never owned one. I didn't really know what to do. It was way too overwhelming. I just wanted to do inspections. I do like doing inspections. I'm a worker bee. Um, my buddy, Ryan Cantrell, who I know Matt knows, I don't know about you,
Yeah.
Brad. He's True Vision Inspections. He's here in DFW as well. He got me in touch with Blake Williams, who owns Super Inspector. That's the company I worked with for most of my career. And
Blake's a
it
good
was a
dude.
good fit. He hired me, and I've been with them most of the time I've been an inspector. I never really had any plans to leave. I liked the whole makeup of just what it means to work for a multi firm. Wake up, go to your inspections, come home, hang out with the family. All the business stuff is, I'll leave that to the other people. And then last year, the first of last year, January 2024, I decided to finally start trying to build social media. And it was a slow process throughout the year. The last half, it really started to gain traction. And then October-ish, it just exploded. I mean, massively exploded. And in December, so at the end of the year last year, all of the business I was getting at Super Inspector, I was bringing to the table. And me and my wife sat down and we're talking. We're like, it just doesn't make sense to stay with the company anymore. If I'm able to generate my own business, I'm basically just giving the company a big cut, in my opinion. Um, they're not going to like I say that, but from what I'm making now, it was a big cut. And I'm like, let's try it. It was a terrifying decision. We were scared, but we're like, we should at least try it. And so, January, I put my 2 weeks in. January 30th, I think, was my last day. My first day with my own company was the 31st of January of this year. Um, the first week, so the night before my first inspection, my wife and I sat down and we were just kind of freaking out. We're like, is this going to work? Do we make the right decision? And I'm like, I think it will. And so that was a Friday. Before the weekend ended, I was fully booked out for the first week. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Wow, man.
Before the first week was complete, I was booked out solid 2 weeks with confirmed inspections, which means I'd contacted the builder. They were good to go. They had confirmed the inspection. Client paid, signed the agreement. And since then, I'm consistently booked out 2 to 3 weeks. A couple weeks I was booked out 4 full weeks, confirmed inspections. I mean,
That's
no
amazing.
openings for 4 weeks. And so at this point, I've been in business almost 4 months. It's like 3.5 months.
That's crazy.
And I'm just sitting here, I've been on the Facebook groups for years and I've talked to a lot of inspectors over the years. And I see how a normal business starting in the home inspection world starts and how it slowly grows. I used to listen to Chris Murphy's podcast, and he said, the first 2 years, the struggle
Yep.
and, just the grind of trying to make every job work and driving from Houston to Dallas. And so it's crazy that I have been booked out 2 weeks
Yeah.
from the first week of my business to this day still. And hopefully that doesn't just plummet because I said something about it and then
Knock on that wall behind you. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. Um, I'm learning a lot. Again, I've never owned a business, so it's been fun, I guess, scary, um, crazy. 3 months. So
I think a lot of that, like, because me and Chris Murphy talked a lot about, how long it takes to build a business. A lot of that was centered around people that are starting their own business that didn't work for another inspection company. But also, even if you did, like, you still got to get and earn your own business because it's not like you can just rob it from the company you worked for previously. But your situation was quite unique in the fact that you built the social media following first before you opened your own business, and I think that really springboarded you into having a ton of business right off the bat. So it's great. I'm sure super inspectors hated to lose you as an inspector and because you were bringing in a ton of business. But it wasn't like that was business that they were earning. You were getting it because of your social media presence. So I mean, you built something before you left. You didn't know you were doing it, um, but it made sense. Like you had already done the marketing and it was working, and so why
and
not?
they understood. I still have a great relationship with them. I feel
Good.
like I left on good terms. They understood. I mean, they could
That's
see
that's
my
great.
following, and also they saw the phone calls coming in. We Super Inspector has their own call center, and at the end of it, I had to have my own phone line just for me from the people
That's
calling in to book inspections. That way they could, because I'm like, look, I'm bringing the company a lot of business. Is there a way we can track this? And so they had a second phone line just for me, where if people called that number, they got that number from one of my social pages. I had it in my bio. But I left on good terms. I have nothing but good things to say about the company. It just made sense for me to part ways to start my own thing.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
I definitely get it too, man. And honestly, like I love that you still have that good relationship. I used to work at BPG, and the area manager there, I don't know if BPG corporate would have supported him in saying it, but every single person that he brought on board, and he built $1 million market within a year and a half or so. But you know he would always tell us, he's like, hey, look, if you find a better offer, I'm not going to stop you from taking it. We're this is a job, and I don't want to lose anybody, and I want to make sure that you're happy working here, but um, I support whatever it is that you want to do. And so when I went and started full time at Porch doing all this stuff, running around the country playing with cameras, he was like, "Well, that sucks because you built a great book of business, but I support it, and we're still friends to this day. So I love that you got that relationship with them because Blake's a good dude. He and his
Yeah.
wife are wonderful. So,
Yep,
um,
big time. Yeah.
so-
I am under a non-compete still, but
of course,
again, what's great about my situation doesn't apply.
Yeah.
yeah,
All of my business, literally 100% of my business comes from social media. So, most non-competes, the big focus there, at least in my opinion, is don't steal their agents,
Agents.
right.
Yeah.
don't steal their employees. I have no intention of hiring any employees, but I couldn't steal their agents if I want to because I can't fit 5 to 7 day option periods in my schedule. I was telling you this, Matt, recently. I just changed my online scheduler. I only offer two services now: new construction finals and 11-month warranties. I had to stop all my
Wow.
other services because I can't fit them into my schedule. And plus, I don't want to do some of them, like 1960s houses, pre-listings. I hate pre-listings. So I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's just do finals and warranties and see how it goes. And I've been doing that now for about 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
Good for you,
yeah,
man. So
I mean,
it's so
I
final
think it's
walkthrough.
definitely doing like new construction stuff is a lot, it's a lot different than the older stuff, and it definitely is a lot. I don't want to say like because I'm doing the same stuff and it takes me almost the same time for the most part as some of the older stuff, but it's not quite as tedious. It feels a whole lot better. I definitely like doing that too. I get a lot of new construction stuff, but I still do some of the older stuff. But I feel you, man. Some of that old stuff that's tough. It's a little bit draining. I don't like I say, it takes me the same amount of time. I think maybe writing the report is a little bit longer, and also I think it's just a lot more tedious.
yeah.
Now, I guess that also explains what, or gives me the answer to what was going to be my other follow up question, which is how do you possibly book out 2 to 4 weeks in advance? And I guess new construction final walkthrough really kind of answers it, because if it's like a normal 7 day contingency, I guess that's tough to do, right?
Correct. Yeah. So, and that's how I'm able to book out 4 weeks. Well, for a small period, 4 weeks. Usually it's 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
It's the finals and the warranties. I have a lot of warranties, like a few weeks out to months out. I also had to stop booking pre-drywall and pre-pour because
Okay.
I couldn't squeeze those in as well. I was still trying to offer those and just do all new construction, but the pre-pour window is so tight that when
Right.
the builder's finally ready, I'm already booked. The pre-drywall, I was able to do quite a few of those the last few months. I don't like doing them, and it was also difficult to schedule them. I kept having people reach out to get questions about it, and they're like, "Okay, we'll reach out whenever it's time to book," and then they would, and I'd have to decline them because I couldn't do it. So finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to offer either of those, the pre-drywall, because I just don't like doing them. And again, a part of me is kind of being stubborn. I got, I worked for a multi firm for years, and even though I loved the company, I think any inspector who works for a firm probably has things they don't like that the firm does. And I am in this weird phase right now where I'm almost like in a rebellious, I want to do things my way phase. And
Yeah.
so not doing pre drywall is one of those. Uh, I'm not a fan of them.
No, I think
Um,
that's smart, man. I've got a friend of mine, a wonderful inspector up in the Tampa area, Kenny McLaurin. Um, he does excavated septics. I don't get it. I'm like, look, sewer scopes are one thing, but he's like, yeah, but it's good money. I'm like, no, no. I mean, I respectfully disagree. Uh, he charged, I think, $400, not to give other inspectors prices away, but he charged $400 for an excavated septic. And I'm like, okay, but that took 2 hours of digging, right? That could have been spent on another house where you could have been making 650 to 750 for a full inspection plus your insurance inspections down here in Florida. So I'm like, the numbers don't make sense to me. Like, look, if you had nothing else that day, maybe, but I'm like, but why not pick the easier thing of the air conditioning other than taking up a crap box, you know?
Yeah,
So,
man, that's tough. I mean, I feel like that had to be way more money than that. It'd have to be priced the same as an inspection to get me out there to
yeah,
do the work.
yeah. Exactly. So I mean, you've earned that right. You're starting your company, Randall, and so you can do what you want and
oh
kind of
man, I'm
explore what works for you.
doing everything I want. I am trying so much stuff. I was talking to Matt about this a few weeks back. I've changed my prices so many times, just trying to see what works and feel what makes me happy, but also is fair to the customer. I also stopped doing septics. I'll do aerobic systems because I understand those like crazy, and they're easy enough. But anaerobic, where you do have to dig them up, and then you open the lid and it's just a tank full of sewage. I mean, I do have some probe rods, but anyway, I don't want to do it. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it.
You don't
I'm
want to
going to
walk around
charge
the
for
yard
certain
probing.
things that we didn't charge for at Super Inspector. Yeah, I'm kind of just trying all kinds of stuff to see what what I like, what I can get away with in the current my current situation with social media. I tried to charge 600 for inspections base fee, and I've had to drop that down. So
Did I just hear a siren?
Yeah, you did. So the fire department is right up the road. It's
Are you okay?
remarkable. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Everything's fine. They're cruising up the street. You hear it about 3 times a week.
Well,
So
if you got to get out of there, just grab that bottle of bourbon on your way out. At
I'll at
least,
least save that and the dog.
yeah,
Right.
the dog,
So
maybe a guitar.
maybe. I mean that base is a Squire, so I mean I'm not too worried about it.
Nah, just leave it then.
Yeah,
Throw it
that's
in the
it.
fire.
Now the Gibson, the good Gibson in the back, I'm grabbing that. But anyway, dude, no, but Randall, back to what you were talking about, man. Seriously, so what are some of the biggest changes that you've made in terms of your operation and how you go about doing the inspection now?
um, not much. The inspection process is pretty similar, I guess, to what I've always done. The super inspector, they would have a routine that they would teach, but they really left it up to you at how you wanted to do your own inspection process. And I've kept most of that. I've started inspecting more things I used to not inspect, but I've also stopped doing things that I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, so that side is pretty similar. The business side of it is where it's different from what they do. I have always wanted to charge for certain ancillary services where many big firms include them for free, like foundation measurements, termite inspections. I charge for those. If the client wants it, I'll do it, but I want to get paid for it, especially foundation measurements. I always hated
That's a lot
doing.
of work.
Do y'all do those? Either one of you do
I
those?
I So I don't really do them. I mean, I will. I do have the tools to do it. Most of the time, I only break out the tools and do it like if I find a problem, and then it's really just to prove what I've already found. But on rare occasion, I have people ask for an actual, foundation evaluation, and I mean, if I got to measure out the whole property and put all those numbers in there, and put it in the report, like yeah, I want to get paid for that, but usually I don't. I
The way
try to
you do
avoid it.
it, yeah, same. The way you do it is how I've always viewed it. If it's one of those weird houses where you're kind of on the fence on the foundation performance, it's nice to have that tool to just help out, make that decision. But whenever you're doing it every inspection and it's a 4,000 square foot house, I mean, just drawing up the footprint can be a nightmare sometimes
Right.
if your phone app's not working. We all use the same app. And then doing the actual measurements in a big house, I'm like, man, I should be getting paid for this. So
Yeah.
I charge for it now. And I have two prices. I have just kind of the base cheap price, but if it's over 3,000 square foot house, I charge extra because they're just kind of a pain to deal with.
It's
And
just
so,
gonna take more time. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't blame it. I don't really have a whole lot of people request it. I do have some people that ask about it every now and again, but I mean, I at least have the opportunity to tell them, well, this is what I do. And I get out that if I need it. The thing is I'm trained to evaluate your foundation without it. And so if I find an area of concern, I might get it to back up my findings, but that's about the only thing. I just let them know all the things that I do look for. What about you, Brad?
As far as state the question one more time. Sorry, I got distracted by
Just do you
silence.
do any type of foundation evaluation, like with a zip level or anything like that?
Oh yeah, no. So not really. I mean, I'll do a kind of a visual scan of what's available at the foundation. In Florida, everything's built on slabbing up. You
Yeah, you
might
have
have a
to.
crawl space, but more. I guess the more exhaustive foundation examinations were always up in Virginia, where you would have basements, a lot of clay soil. So you would see a lot more settlement cracking and stuff up there. But anyway, down here, really not so much. And when it comes to like taking measurements and stuff, I guess a good friend of ours, Austin Jenkins, we all know him. I shadowed him on an inspection before, and that guy would take measurements around the entire house, every room, perimeter of the home. He would give sketches, layouts, drawings, all of
Yeah,
this. But I mean, for me, I'm like, that's not what, if that's what you think is going to set you apart from the competition and you want to give that added value, cool. Um, I'm giving you 2 hours, two to
it's
two and a half
extremely
hours.
time consuming. I mean,
It
like that
is.
is
Yeah.
an hour, and then
Yeah.
and especially to get it all like in the report and put out there. Like, I feel like depending on the size of the property, it can be extremely time consuming. And to me, like with my knowledge of foundations and what I had, my experience, if I get to the point where I feel like I need to get out that tool, you probably shouldn't be paying me to do an evaluation. You'd be paying an engineer at that point, because I,
Exactly.
I have already found that there is, a reason for concern. And if you're looking for somebody to tell you that it is a problem or it isn't a problem, like for sure, like an answer that you can hang your hat on, or something like, if you're buying a house and you really need to know, or if you're selling a house and you really need to know, or if you're buying a house and for resale purposes, like you want to have that engineer stamp that says it's been looked at by an engineer and they said it was okay, or they said it actually needs repair. So I feel like if it gets to that point, that's where you need to spend your money, not on me running around your house with that tool.
No, and the other thing too, I mean, there's companies that once they've scaled large enough, they bring on internal engineers. I mean, I know Greenworks has an engineering side of their company. Harmony's done a good job with that, but I mean, for most guys, I don't see why it's completely necessary, right? That's where you have the comment in the report where it's like, see a structural engineer.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you,
have the
you,
tool on the truck, but I mean, like, I don't intend to take it out to do foundation evaluation surveys unless, yeah, I got to get paid
yep.
pretty good
And
money to do it.
I only do new construction, and I do not push this on my clients. They'll ask me about other services I offer, and I'll tell them I offer three currently: the foundation measurements, the wood destroying insect report, and the sewer scope. The first two I don't push on a brand new house. Most
Oh,
houses
yeah.
do not need foundation measurements or even a termite inspection. Sewer scope I push like crazy, and I've sold a ton of those. But I've showed
That's the big
evidence
one
through
right
my
now. Yeah.
social media that they've watched of all the sewer stuff I find on new houses. So
Right. Right. I mean, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I don't do sewer scope, but I certainly, load test the plumbing and find all kinds of issues in terms of it being very slow to drain, backing up, back into, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I try not to push even termite inspection. I think there's so many people that feel like they need it. And there's a lot of companies that'll like give it away. I mean, it might be built into the price, but they'll say the termite inspection is free. I'm not doing that because I don't want to do it on every inspection. It
yeah,
is also another element of work that I don't want to do if I don't have to. And I have found termites on one new construction house, and they also didn't buy a termite inspection, but they got one.
yeah,
Because if I find them, I'm going to go ahead and do an official report. But like
exactly.
most of the time, the way I explain it to people is like, why would you want to pay me to give you a report that says are there any conducive conditions? Like there probably aren't because it's new. Is there any active termites? There probably isn't because it's new. Is there any evidence of previous infestations? Well, likely not. Is there any evidence of previous termite treatment? Well, likely not. Like this is what, and it's just a
Well, that's
document.
fresh
Hey,
like borate on
Yeah, the
all
borate.
the plumbing.
right, right.
Yeah. So that makes no sense. I used to do this, when people would be buying condos up in Virginia, when they would go, "Hey, so should I get a termite inspection on my unit here?" I would stand in the middle of the room and I would turn around in a circle and go, "You're good." And they're like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Let me explain. You're on the fifth floor.
Yeah.
You fine, okay? And this
Yeah.
is a
If they
concrete
made if
building."
they made it up here, like you've got a
Yeah.
real problem. The
If
people
they made it
below
up
you.
here, I want to high five those little critters individually. Okay, like I want to get my little handle tap and just give them each a little high
There you
five.
go. There you go.
So, but now, Randall, that's so how do you work the social media angle into that now with everything that you're doing now? I mean, are you looking to kind of continue the same type of content that you've been doing that's more buyer focused, or trying to make it more educational?
I mean, I have plans. I've kept doing what's been working. Uh, when I first started the first half of 2024, I was really just learning I never did social media. So I was learning what worked and what didn't and trying all the stuff that, trendy stuff, and I'd watch what worked for other people. And then I quit for a month and a half. I was off and I wasn't planning on coming back. And then finally I'm like, I'll give it another go. And that's really when it started to pick up. And then later in the year is when I felt like I found kind of my groove and what worked for me. And I listened to the Preston episode this morning. Y'all kind of alluded to this. I, I felt like I was just genuine and I was showing people who I was. I'm very sarcastic. I like humor and I tried to educate, but also show this is my opinion. And so if y'all don't agree with it, totally understand. Try to show the ridiculous state of new construction homes in DFW, Texas, but then also throw in some humor. And I don't know, it worked. People loved it. I started to get massive, amount of followers. Then I started the other platforms. I'm like, I need to be on everything. Thankfully, I did because now all of them have over 100K, which I'm getting business from all four: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I tried the handle thing. That was new and fun, but I feel like it's played out right now. But I have some new ideas I want to try. I'm not going to reveal them because I've learned people will steal your stuff.
Yes, yes,
They
they
do,
will.
Anyway,
man. Go back to the
I have
I
some
Trey
was figuring
episode
ideas.
I
about
was
that.
hoping you would reveal it so I could steal it before you put it
Nope.
out, actually.
And
No,
honestly,
man.
it may flop, but I'm excited for it. I I don't think any other inspector has done this ever.
You could do like
So we'll
Shawn
see.
Meisel and do a little dance. I mean, we won't razz him too much on here, though. We love Shawn.
He can pull it off. I can't pull that off.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't pull
So
it off.
No, I absolutely love it, man. So again, what are your goals then for the year? As somebody like when you set your goals at the beginning of the year, do they you've probably already exceeded them numerically. So how do you raise the bar from there just for the business? Not even talking social media, just for the business now.
Good question. I'm happy to answer because I don't know. I feel like my answer may be not what you expect and very different from other inspectors. I have met my goal and I planned on maintaining it. Matt and I also talked about this on the phone recently. I don't have any intentions of growing a massive business. I don't have any intentions of getting multiple inspectors underneath me. I like doing home inspections. It's a very good income. So I want to keep doing home inspections myself, and I want a good work-life balance. I have already
Yeah, man.
achieved it. Um, my perfect work week is 9 inspections: two Monday, two Tuesday, one on Wednesday, two Thursday, two Friday. Now, some weeks I'm like, you know what? Let's make some money, and I'll pick up some extra jobs or whatnot. Every now and then I work Saturdays, but I like working Monday through Friday and doing a half day in the middle of the week so I can do business stuff. And that is what the last 4 weeks have been. And then I like the weekends off because I have 3 girls and I want to spend time with them. So uh, I'm happy. I don't currently I don't have any intentions of changing my business model. I have considered bringing on another inspector just due to the volume of phone calls I'm turning away and work I'm turning away. But as of right now, I'm happy.
That's great, man. That's good for you for building
Absolutely.
that and building that work life balance like you were talking about. Like that's huge, man. Good job.
Now this may change, but
Right.
my two youngest, I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and then a 14-year-old. But with how young they are, that's why, man, I'm happy just working and then spending time with family. That's where I'm coming from. So
Yeah.
once they get older, who knows? Maybe I want to start adding inspectors to my team, but we'll see.
Well, for now, just keep enjoying it, man. You've done a great job. Keep it up. Don't obviously we never want to rest on our laurels, but at the same time, you are doing exactly what entrepreneurs set out to do, right? Which is build work-life balance, work for yourself, enjoy the fruit of your labor, and build and craft the life that you think is just the best blessing to you and others, right? I freaking love it, man. So good for you, and we're so happy for you here, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Thanks.
congratulations on everything you've been able to achieve on social media. That's awesome to hear that you're getting just so much business from it. I get a lot of business from it, but not quite to that extent. So, man, that's really awesome. Good job doing all that, man. You really you've become a force to be reckoned with on social media and so fast. I mean, great job
Definitely.
on
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Can I say something to that real quick?
that.
Oh
I
yeah.
was on. I try to avoid Reddit, but I was on Reddit couple weeks ago, and they have a couple home inspector subreddits, and I'm like, you know what? Let's check it out and see what they're talking about in there. And there was a guy who said he asked the question, "Hey, is social media worth it? Should I even waste my time?" And so I started reading the comments, and most people were bashing it. And then one guy was just like, "Feel free to do it if you want. It's not a bad idea, but you're wasting your time. Really, there's no return on investment." So he didn't recommend it. And I'm just sitting here like 100% of my business comes from social media. I'm booked out far. It was able to propel my brand new company, to crazy levels. So I'm just sitting here like, I don't know, man. I feel like social media, everybody should be trying it and learning how to
Absolutely.
do it. That way, who knows what it could turn their life into. I mean, maybe they start getting a little more work. Maybe they blow their business up, like mine did. Or at the very least, maybe they start making money from TikTok and YouTube like you can do.
Right,
So I don't know.
right.
So
Yeah.
the reason I said that is if you've been on the table or sorry, been on the fence about doing social media, I recommend it. Try it out. It is a learning process. It'll take time to figure out what works for you. You're going to have a lot of failure videos. You're going to have people that bash you, whatever. Just try it, keep posting it. I can't recommend social media enough.
Yeah, I actually don't necessarily think it's for everybody, but I think it's probably for everyone to at least try. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
like, because you don't know, and obviously, like, there's a lot of people that just won't put in the effort. And so that's what, helps some of us be successful, because there's a lot of people out there that just can't keep up with the demand and the workload, that because it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to, put to film material, put it together, put it out there. It's a whole separate situation from inspections. But I mean, when it's the only form of marketing you have, and it's bringing you all your business, I mean,
Yeah, it's free.
yeah, for
Free to
That's
absolutely.
do.
exactly it, man. It's literally, we all run around with a 4K camera in our pockets now. It's a pretty impressive, but at the same time, not everybody has the same creative mind,
Yeah.
or has that kind of a penchant. But at the same time, it's, I know there's inspectors out there that don't do hardly any social media, and they do 600 to 700 inspections a year on their own. This is a BPG's top inspector, my old area manager. Um, Not a lick of social media. So there's multiple ways to skin the cat, but at the same time,
Yeah.
why pass up free marketing, like you're saying?
I read
So
it what's that? There's an inspector publication that I don't even remember subscribing to, but I get it mailed to me every so often, like every quarter or something. There's like a inspector magazine or something that comes, and I remember reading years ago that if you didn't have an Instagram account, like you were really, you're leaving money on the table or something like that. And I was like, well, let me get an Instagram account. I went right after it, and here I am now. So and that was years ago in a magazine. But I definitely agree. Like, if you're not doing something or trying something, like like, why not?
no,
What is your
absolutely.
hang up? It's free, and there's a lot of business to be had out there. And I think what makes it so special is that there's just so many people in the world, so many people on social media. Okay, they may not like me, but they might like you. They might not like you, they might like me, or whatever, or somebody else. There's something out there for everybody. And so, you just find your audience and then start catering to them.
No,
Yeah, and I
absolutely.
like the way you phrased it. I understand it's definitely not for everybody. There was some guys at Super who tried it and they're like, "Eh, it's not for me." I guess my point was, if you've been thinking about it, at the very least, give it a shot, give it a chance. Who knows? You may love it too.
No,
Maybe
it's
like
fun,
this
man.
is
Well,
what I've
dude, we
been
love following
waiting
you.
for.
Seriously, love seeing everything that you're doing out there. It's been a blast. So we
Well,
really
thanks,
enjoyed having you on the show.
and right back to y'all. So
Thanks,
No,
man.
definitely.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah. Well, Randall and Handel, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been a blast. We got to do it again soon. We got to keep you a frequent guest, dude. And hopefully, you come to Inspection Fuel. We'd love to see the both of you there. The Handel as well. But
yeah, so I didn't even know about it until I mean, I knew about it, but the Preston episode today, I'm like, oh man, yeah, that's coming up. I need to start planning for that. So
I got you. I'll hook you up with the. We'll cover your ticket, man, for sure. We want you there. But definitely, we'll talk about that off air for sure. For those of you that want to go, obviously you can check it out at inspectionfuel.com/register. We want to see you there. But Randall, again, thanks again, Matt. Love doing this with you. And dude, the people need to be watching, because we got a fun one coming up next episode with Matt Rice.
Well, it's weird though, because that will be the last episode whenever this one airs.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. Go back and watch that one, is what I mean to say. Yeah.
Now you're watching just really good episode.
We had a really good episode with this guy.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Dude, we record these things in batches. I forget when they happen from time to time.
All right, I got you.
All right, man. We love it, Randall. Thanks again. Thank you guys all for watching. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'm hungry. And we'll see you here next time. Right on.
Right along.
You got it. We'll see you then.